Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Activision Blizzard released their quarterly report for the third quarter of 2022 yesterday, and in this video I'll take a little bit of a look at how is Blizzard doing. Specifically, I would be interested in news about Hearthstone and about Warcraft, Arclight, Rumble, but news about both of those are a little bit slim, and sometimes looking through this it's really hard to distinguish between how's different games doing anyway, but let's take a look at what they write and what the numbers say about Blizzard section of Activision Blizzard anyway. So for Blizzard, October 4 saw the global launch of Overwatch 2, so now we're already getting into the fourth quarter, so everything that they're writing here is something that is not actually in the numbers yet. With a free-to-play model designed to allow more people than ever before to experience the acclaimed team-based action game, over 35 million people played the game in its first month, including many who were new to Overwatch. 35 million people is actually a lot, because that's more than the average monthly users of all Blizzard titles combined. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. Expanded community is engaging deeply, with average daily player numbers for the first month of Overwatch 2 more than double that of its acclaimed predecessor. Player investment is also off to a strong start, positioning the title to be a meaningful contributor to Blizzard's business in the fourth quarter. Blizzard is looking forward to delivering an ambitious slate of regular seasonal updates for Overwatch 2 that introduce new characters, maps and modes, including the game's much-anticipated PvE mode planned for 2023. Yeah, back in the day it used to be that's going to launch with that, but hey, anyway, Overwatch 2 seems to be doing really well according to this. We'll get some numbers in a few months, but that player count is really good for a Blizzard game. Alright, on to other stuff. In the Warcraft franchise, the September 26th release of World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King Classic contributed to a strong increase in WoW reach and engagement at the end of the third quarter. On November 28, Blizzard will release World of Warcraft Dragonflight, the innovative next expansion for the modern game, as the team increases the cadence of WoW content for the community. Elsewhere in the Warcraft franchise, mobile title Warcraft Arclight Rumble is progressing well through regional testing. Arclight Rumble currently it's in closed beta. You can get access to randomly if you happen to live in Australia. You put in a ticket, hey, I want access, and sometimes you might get it. Other than that, it's contests, friend and family. So regional testing, it has not been expanded well beyond Australia yet, but okay. The game does look pretty good, I have to say. Wrath of the Lich King Classic release right at the end of the quarter, so doesn't really affect the numbers, and also of course you can play that with your regular WoW subscription, and contributed to a strong increase in WoW reach and engagement. Whenever I hear reach, whenever I hear engagement, I just tend to discount those in quarterly reports. Like, if they had revenues to report, they would say revenues, but if they don't have revenues to report, then at least they can sometimes say engagement. That's just my take. Anyway, on mobile, Diablo Immortal expanded its global reach with a strong launch in China in July. The title reached the top of the download charts and has ranked in the top 10 grossing mobile games in China since launch. Around the world, Diablo Immortal is being supported with major new content, features and events aimed at keeping the community engaged. Meanwhile, work on Diablo 4 and its substantial ongoing post-launch content continues to progress well ahead of its launch planned for 2023. So Diablo Immortal was launched in Quarter 2 in the West, in Quarter 3 in Asia Pacific and in China. And yeah, Diablo Immortal, I mean, there have been some strong opinions about the game online, also about the monetization of the game, but at least at the start, it looks like there have been a lot of people playing. We can see a little bit more about that in the numbers later. And then, Blizzard's third quarter segment revenue grew double digits year over year against the year ago quarter that included the release of Diablo 2 Resurrected. The third quarter benefited from the recent launch of Diablo Immortal, while Warcraft franchise net bookings were stable year over year. Segment operating margin was lower year over year due to marketing investment to support the strong release slate and the shift in the mix of business in the quarter. Alright, marketing investments, shift in the mix of business. Like, these are the important sentences that you really have hard time grasping, and I don't know what to really make of that. Like, Diablo Immortal, is that less profitable? It should be more profitable, right? Or what is that? It's also big in China. How about their deals in China? How does it affect them? I don't know. But there is a another part about China. Currently, we have licensing agreements with a third party covering the publication of several Blizzard titles in China. I read this to mean NetEase. NetEase has been their partner, for example, with Hearthstone. These agreements, which contributed approximately 3% of Activision Blizzard's consolidated net revenues in 2021, expire in January 2023. We are in discussions regarding the renewal of these agreements, but a mutually satisfactory deal may not be reached. We continue to see substantial long-term growth opportunities for our business in the country. The co-development and publishing of Diablo Immortal is covered by a separate long-term agreement. So, again, stuff that it's kind of hard to decipher, like how do you act in China if you don't have the partner anymore? Are they going to shut down Hearthstone in China? Surely that cannot happen. And also, whenever I see substantial long-term growth opportunities, that's always like, well, what about the short term? There's so much more behind these words, but I have not been able to decipher them properly. But what about the numbers themselves? So 3 months ending at the end of September, so this is July, August, September 2022. Net revenues, segment net revenues for Activision 480 million, for Blizzard 543 million, and for King 692 million. So as always, Candy Crush. Candy Crush is the crown jewel of Activision Blizzard King, and yeah, King is just the most profitable and biggest part of the company. Blizzard has lately overtaken Activision. So Blizzard used to be a lot smaller than Activision, but Activision hasn't been doing that great. However, this does not include the launch of the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So Activision probably is going to just jump up in the fourth quarter. Of course, Blizzard also has some releases for the fourth quarter with World of Warcraft, Overwatch 2, but still Call of Duty should be a really big deal. Overall, Activision Blizzard's this year has been much worse than the past couple of years, but Blizzard is showing some signs of recovery on this third quarter. But I think most of that recovery is actually driven by Diablo Immortal. Because then we also have these numbers, revenue by platform. However, revenue by platform does not differentiate between Activision, Blizzard, and King. So we can see that September 30, 2022, console 336 million, down from 523, PC 363 million, down from 578 year on year, and mobile and ancillary 932 million, up from 820 million. And Candy Crush, obviously King is mobile, so Candy Crush is contributing several hundred million. It's most of that is Candy Crush. But Candy Crush grew 40 million, whereas mobile has grown 110 million. So there's another 70 million that's unexplained, and that could possibly be explained largely by Diablo Immortal. And finally, we have the numbers for monthly active users. And for September 30, 2022, Blizzard 31 million, Activision 97 million, King 240 million. And the way they count is, if you play one Blizzard game for every month, then you count as one user. They take the number of users per month, add them together, divide them by 3, that's it. Also, if you play 2 Blizzard games, you count as 2 users for that month. So that 31 million, the previous 27 million, those have largely been attributed. On the last quarterly report, it was attributed, the rise from 22 to 27 million was attributed to Diablo Immortal, and Diablo Immortal was now launched in China as well, in Asia Pacific. So this largely looks like the effect of Diablo Immortal, especially taking into account that we know that Warcraft revenues are similar. So we didn't get any data from Hearthstone really, and it doesn't look like Hearthstone might be declining a little bit, might be largely the same. It certainly doesn't look like it's growing, because there's some growth, but that growth can largely be explained away by Diablo Immortal in particular. Also of note that these numbers don't yet include anything from Overwatch 2, and Overwatch 2 first month players was 35 million, whereas all of Blizzard had 31 million for third quarter. So fourth quarter looking really promising for Blizzard. The other main thing of note is that this operating margin has been decreasing. Operating margin overall for the whole Activision Blizzard 35.9%, and for Blizzard that's only like around 30%. So Blizzard is the least profitable part of this. That margin, coming from manufacturing background, that feels like a pretty decent margin, but for software, we'll see. We'll see if Activision Blizzard is going to be happy about that one. So that's my brief overlook of how Blizzard has been doing in the past quarter. Not a lot of news about Hearthstone, not a lot of news about Warcraft Arclight Rumble, sadly, but maybe in the next quarter. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.